Okay, so we want to talk to you about the Kabbalah lesson itself with the Rav Leitman. Previously we talked about the preparation that we have to do for that lesson, and now we want to delve into the lesson itself, which is the most important event. And the lesson is composed, we can say, basically of three parts. One part is the lesson itself. Rav is giving a lecture, and a bringing part that really format our minds towards the topic that he wants us to scrutinize. Then we have the second part, which is the part of the workshop, that we're sitting together in a circle, and the third part, which is the questions and answers. So let's talk about the part where mainly we're reading some text, Rav is talking, and what do I do in this part?
Okay, very good. So I say, first of all, in order to understand the purpose of the lesson, I say we delve into the sources and see what Kabbalists say. There's a short quote which says the following. It's by Rabash, Rabbi Baruch Shalom Alevi Ashlag, and he says, a person has to try to make a great effort before the study so that the lesson will bear fruit and good results, meaning that the lesson shall bring the reforming light of the Torah, Torah meaning the instruction and the light together, by which there will be the ability to reform. So the purpose of the lesson, everything that we're doing, these three parts, the preparation, everything, is to draw the reforming light. That is the only thing actually in nature that can change our nature. And when we're sitting on that first part of the lesson, or on any other part, what we want to do is to focus on that. Of course, I want to cleave on to something. I want to cleave on to what Rav Leitman says. I want to hear what he says. I want to listen to it attentively and openly. But the truth is that it is relatively in the background, relatively to what? To my inner demand, my inner desire for the light that reforms to come and change me, come and change the friends. That is the main intent and the goal and the purpose of the lesson.
And lesson in Hebrew, the meaning is a measure, some measure. This is why we say shi'ur. It's some measure of the light that through the Rav, it is opened to us. Opened according to what? To what Ariel said, to my demand during the lesson. To how do I scrutinize this demand. And, you know, thanks to the Creator, we have myriad of thoughts in us during the lesson. Suddenly, I remember that I have my cute kitty, what's its name?
Pizzi.
Pizzi. My
It's
Pizzi,
wonderful.
Yeah. And I didn't give him, I don't know, his food, or I didn't brush his little tiny nose, and you won't believe what thoughts. And you made a preparation. And this is when you feel that you need the friends. And you are with the friends, you're sitting all together in one circle, you and 9 other friends, and you want to concentrate in them, you want to feel them. You want to hear the entire lesson, regardless of the questions or workshop, or you want to hear the entire lesson through them, through their desire, through their heart. That means that you all together, and we will soon discuss it when we will talk about the workshop, you all together form a new vessel. The only vessel that can exist begins with 10. 10 people, 10 points in the heart, connecting into one kli, thus creating the structure of the upper world, like the structure of 10 sfirot. And this is how I want to sit in the lesson, because whatever Rav is saying, it doesn't matter, perception of reality, the upper worlds, everything, it regards and belongs to these friends with me, to our connection. And through our connection, we can begin to perceive and attain whatever Rav is saying. It's like an antenna. It's like a radio receiver. That this is the only way I can understand what the wisdom of Kabbalah is talking about. So whatever I have, questions, thoughts, I don't know what, I want to concentrate in these friends, and as if to hear everything through them. I remember once in the beginning I brought an old friend to a lesson of Kabbalah. And it was after a long time that I tried to convince him, and look, it's good. And he came some Friday to the lesson, and I remember myself, the entire lesson, I'm just thinking of him. Now, how is he perceiving whatever Rav Leitman says? Oh, what now he will think? Oh, now he must be delighted. Now he must be repelled, maybe. Now like this, now like that. I was always with my thoughts inside of him, because it was important to me that everything that Rav is saying would really reach him. Of course, it was egoistically and it was for me, but back then I really thought of him. So what am I trying to say? That the only way that we could really change and reform and attract the light that reforms is through our attitude towards these friends. And of course, no one of us is born with the attitude that I love you so much and just let me hug you all. But the tendency towards that thing, the fact that we want to scrutinize, we want to aim, we want to reach this thing, even though actually now we were given a different nature, but we want to be in this. We want the lesson to influence on us. That tendency is enough to attract the upper light. And if all of us, all of the circle, are doing the same thing and thinking of the others, this is enough to really have this lesson, this measure of light. And this is really the difference between words of wisdom, that everyone from the street could sit and hear a lecture of, interesting, and between attracting the light, that it really will change us, change our kli, change our desire. And you will see how in each and every lesson in the Congress, one lesson by the other, you are changing. This 10 is building, and it will be amazing.
Okay, so another, really just to back up Moshe's words by the great Kabbalists, that we're not inventing it.
Hey, I didn't invent it.
No, I'm just showing that it's based on our ancient roots. This is from item 155 from Introduction to Tess, written by Bala Sulam, the greatest Kabbalist of our generation, which adapted the method of Kabbalah to our generation specifically. And it says, therefore we must ask, why then did the Kabbalists obligate each person to study the wisdom of Kabbalah? Indeed, there is a great thing in it worthy of being publicized. There is a wonderful, invaluable remedy to those who engage in the wisdom of Kabbalah, although they do not understand what they are learning, because it speaks about the higher worlds. When Kabbalists write, they write about their reality, about the reality of the upper world. Of course, it's clothed in the branches of this world, but that's why he says, although they do not understand what they're learning, we only really start to understand what the wisdom of Kabbalah is when we achieve spirituality, when we really go into spirituality. Through the yearning and the great desire to understand what they're learning, they awaken upon themselves the light that surrounds their souls. And that's the most important part of it, that we really want to change by drawing that light. And maybe one more thing about this quote, that it says that there is a great remedy about it. What is a remedy? We'll stumble upon it more than once. A remedy is actually an unseen connection between two things. That suppose if I do like this and the lights go out, it would be excellent if they went out, but they didn't. Okay, it happens. But there is some kind of a sensor that picks this up and, it turns off the light. For someone that, saw it for the first time, this is amazing. How could it be magic? No, it's there. It exists. We just don't know how it works. The same with the lesson, the same with the textbooks that we'll be reading on the lesson. There is a connection between us and the light that comes through these textbooks that is activated by our desire. And even though that we don't see it directly, it influences us, changes us, and this is actually the sole purpose of our our learning, our teaching. We want to achieve a second nature, a nature of bestowal, and reveal all the great things that exist right now, everywhere around us, but simply we don't feel them yet because we lack the sense. So this light helps us change our nature and achieve the sense.
So to summarize, we have the purpose of the lesson, and this is what Ariel just said. We have the means of attracting the upper light, which is the 10. These 9 friends, points in the heart that I'm studying with. And another thing that we mentioned in the preparation, but I want to mention it again, is my attitude towards whatever Rav Lightman is saying. And we have a new measure, a new reality in order to attract the upper light. These are the 10. And whatever Rav is saying, it is a new paradigm. It is a new thing. And I want to flow with whatever he's saying, because in this part of the lesson, he's creating new structures from the upper reality, where we're connected, we're all one, and it's all relationships of bestowal. And I don't want to put his words into the old box, to arrange it in what I already know and feel, and it will reside in my old box of the ego. No. I want, in this lesson, to create a new paradigm, a new box, where everything that Rav will say will construct this new vessel, this new desire, and whatever he's saying will get into there. And this is why I want to, to shun away every egoistic thought, whatever I have, I restrict it. I don't agree with these thoughts. That's it. This is an advice that Rav Lightman gave us many times. I don't agree. Yes, the thoughts are coming because the upper light is sending, but I can disagree with this. And I want to express my tendency to be with the friends, to hear what Rav is saying. And this is this work, this effort, it's enough to attract the upper light. Okay, so this is the first part of the lesson.